Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I had intended for this to be, a proper VR to Erin for her video yesterday for 10 decks for surreal and uncertain times. But to be honest, I don't have the energy. For the last week or so, I've really not been very well. I think I'm having a flare-up of fibromyalgia. I've been struggling more and more just to do the basics. I've had 8 migraines, I think, on the trot, which even for me is a lot. I'm just generally in a lot of pain and not feeling very well. But I wanted to say something. I wanted to just be part of this discussion anyway. I've only watched Erin's video at the moment. I'm aware there's a couple of others around, which I will get to watch. But like I said, I'm sorry, Erin, I don't have the energy to, really do this justice with pulling out 10 decks and everything. I'm struggling even to feed myself and look after myself at the moment. I'm really not feeling very well at all. It will pass, but yeah, I just wanted to just express my utter horror at what is going on in the world at the moment. Well, I say at the moment, but to be honest, I've been aware of many of these things for at least 20 years, I think. I mean, I'm 57 now, and I think I was wide awake to the horrors of the world probably when I was in my mid-20s. I would say probably around about the age of 40, I discovered, well, maybe even younger actually, I don't really remember, but I discovered David Icke. I've been and seen him at Wembley talk, and I've bought lots of his books, and so many of the things that he's spoken about over the years, that people said he was a conspiracy theorist and he was mad and he was this and he was that. These things have all come to pass. They've all been true. And, he's entirely right. Oh, do you know, I'm just so sick. I'm just so sick of the suffering in this world. All the injustice, the rape, the torture, the murder of innocents. For what? For a cabal of evil people? I mean, I don't know about you. What do we all think? I think that evil, I suppose a definition of evil could be a lack of goodness, a very basic definition, but I just think it's more than that. I think that it's a very real force, isn't it, in our reality? And it's like evil is the enjoyment and the relishing of inflicting suffering, in the ruining of something that's pure and innocent. And everywhere we look in our world these days, you see it. I'm sorry, it's making me feel quite emotional. I mean, I'm not very well at the moment in general, so my brain just can't comprehend some of this stuff sometimes. But it's a satanic cult in this world. I saw on somebody else's channel, instead of calling them paedophiles, they were calling them PDF files to stop getting any unwanted attention on their channel. So I'm going to call them PDF files. But they're everywhere, and they have been probably forever. this cult. I remember back in 2007, you know, because you have to remember this is my perspective from the UK. Back in 2007, there is a journalist called Sonia Poulton. She's an independent journalist. She's a brilliant woman. And she made a documentary called PDF Files in Parliament. And I remember at the time it was shocking to so many people. But even then, back in 2007, I was aware of these things through David Icke. You know, I think I first became aware of a lot of this around the time of Thatcher's government in the UK, because Margaret Thatcher, because it seemed her whole cabinet was full of them. Sonia Poulton has gone on to expose much more of this and church scandals in the UK. At the moment in the UK, we now have inquiries into the Pakistani rape gangs, like 1,000 odd girls coming forward with evidence of being passed around, young girls being passed around. We've also heard about Peter Mandelson and his links to Epstein, whatever his name is. But, you know, as David Icke would say, this is just the tip of the iceberg, really. It is the tip of the iceberg. It's just every time you think you've heard the worst of it, there's more. And like I said, I've always been really fascinated by concepts around good and evil. And I think that there's no way that you can really get into discussions about good and evil without bringing religion into it. You know, and I do think, like I said, that evil is just as much of a real force in this world as goodness. And it feels at the moment that we're losing, doesn't it? But we mustn't, we can't. There's more of us than them. There's more of us that are good. There's more of us that want to see everyone happy and well and thriving and living their best lives. I pulled out the Game of Thrones deck just because I couldn't think of a deck that represented this heinous energy in this world more than the Game of Thrones deck. The characters in that, the good and the evil, and little Arya here, bless her. She righted many wrongs, didn't she? She got much revenge in the end. In her own way, she was such a force for good. And so I don't even think I've really got the energy particularly to flick through this deck. Like I said, I'm really, really struggling at the moment. I've even struggling to get my words out properly. But, you know, there's the suffering of people in this world, all over the world at the moment. It just seems overwhelming. Everywhere you look, everything you hear, from the very small, petty bits of suffering inflicted on us by our governments to these huge, massive, global, satanic rings of just, I just don't even have the words, really. Something else in the UK at the moment that is a big thing that is really quite affecting me badly the more I think about it is that since we've had such a lot of immigration into this country of Muslims, and I'm not saying I'm against Muslims as a whole, but I don't always think that Muslim and Christian values are a good mix. And you know, in this country, whether you think that we should eat meat or not, I mean, I've been vegetarian on and off throughout my life. At the moment, I eat meat because I've realised as I get older, I need more protein to stay healthy. But I've been vegetarian for long periods in my life because I can't stand the cruelty to animals. But in this country, we've always fully stunned animals. They've not been conscious at the time of slaughter on the most part. But obviously the Muslim religion has brought their religious ideas around the slaughter of animals, which means that they need to be fully conscious when their throats are slit, and it's torture, it's sick, it's disgusting. I can't stand it. And so there's a lot of people in the country at the moment that are calling for very stricter guidelines around that. It's come out that a lot of companies are using halal meat and not declaring it. You know, it even came out that schools were using halal meat to feed children. And at the very least, we should have informed choice about what we're eating, shouldn't we? I saw something the other day that said that 84% of sheep in the UK are fully conscious when their throats are slit. And that just is not our culture. That's not what we do here. Everywhere you look, there's just some cruelty going on towards something or someone that is innocent. It just sickens me to my stomach. It absolutely sickens me. And I don't know what the answer is to it anymore. You know, I see various people around the internet saying various things, some of which I agree with, some of which I don't. You know, I partly wish that we could just round them all up and get rid of them somehow. I'm not going to say the words of how, but I don't know. How do we get rid of them? How do we get rid of these things, these people, these evil, sick, twisted monsters that are predatory and prey on us? Like I said, there's more of us than them. For my own part, I've been doing some spell work. I've been asking for peace. I've been asking for the higher good of all things and all people. I've been doing very specific spells around animals and children. I think that we all need to. I mean, I've never on my channel ever particularly been political or even voiced a lot of my very strong feelings about the world. Because like I said, I'm 57. I've been aware of these things for longer than I haven't. And I think once your eyes are open and you see these things, you can't ever unsee them. You can't ever go back to how you were. It's like it spoils something in you to know these things, to know that these things, it's corrupting, isn't it? To even know these things, to even have to think about these things. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm despairing, I'm frustrated, I'm fed up. I don't know what the answer is, but I just like I said, I had intended to do this as a proper VR, but I don't have the energy. I just wanted to support everybody and put my little bit out there, and us people who actually have hearts and empathy and compassion and love, we all need to stand together and focus our energy on defeating this evil. I don't know when I'll be back to recording videos properly. I'll have to see how I feel. Sometimes fibromyalgia can come and go quite quickly, and sometimes it takes time. But at the moment, I'm just having to really prioritise my health. So I will endeavour to watch other people's videos over the next few days, but I'm finding it all really quite distressing, if I'm honest, so I'll do my best. I'm not highly sensitive tarot for no reason. I really feel these things, and I think they affect me on various levels. But anyway, I'm sending my love to you all, to the world, to every person, child, animal that is not one of them. That is not one of them. So I'm sending you all my love, and I'll speak to you all again soon.